Hashtag Foodie Beauty's ignorance knows no bounds.
No, Angelic Millie. What happened? Really? Well, I'm Muslim, so I don't have to worry.
I'm sorry, what?
I'm Muslim, so I don't have to worry.
She does realize that their main targets are Muslims, right? Right? Clearly not. On a different note, I don't think she even knows there are two branches of Islam. This is the level of stupidity she is. It's worse than I thought. Hashtag Foodie Beauty is really pushing for it. It would be too much of an ordeal for the Taliban to kidnap her. My takeaway: 1. Doesn't really feel bad for this individual, and 2. Believe she's untouchable, so doesn't care. Really wishing she had actually quit YouTube these days. Are you serious? Nothing like her saying, "I'm Muslim," with a herpes sore on her lip. Every time I see Salah and Foodie Beauty, I swear. Wow, you guys are going to hell. That's a clip worth saving, call it a hunch. She is so despicable. Every inch of that sentence made me sick. Imagine anyone trying to kidnap her. Did she just say, "You know what, never mind"? She thinks she doesn't have to worry? Bish, it don't work that way. They, as people, to quote parts of the Quran, forbid music, etc. And if you are caught breaking those rules, you've had it. Ask, as in random spot checks, where they'll ask you questions about Islam that any true Muslim should know. There was Muhammad, peace be upon him, born and when is his birthday. If you can't answer, it can lead to severe physical punishment and indeed loss of life. They don't mess about. I don't remember the title of the film, but I remember watching one where the man asked the daughter some basic questions. Once they discovered how educated the daughters are, they shot the mother dead. Since Chantal's mom is not in Kuwait, nobody kidnapping that fat animal abuser. Why? She can be a mule or an instrument of torture. Stick someone's head in her fupa. There seems to be no sign of intelligent life anywhere. Unbelievable, even for her. Don't be surprised if Sally organized something like that, the Taliban would throw her back. This is when hashtag Foodie Beauty empathizes with the Taliban because Salah told her a false narrative. But same as Nader, she defends the bad guys. She better hope no one targets her over there. The one true and obvious self-defense move she has is her body, so ain't nobody gonna kidnap her. What the hell is wrong with her? WTF. Muslim. Right. I'm sure the nudies posted all over Google recently would go over awesome with the Taliban. They just shake their heads and chuckle like, "Oh, that's Chantal, lol. Good thing she's Muslim now, or we may have had a problem with this." She's so delusional, it's worrisome. When you think you have heard every dumb thing out of this woman's mouth, guess you put crap in it. Crap is bound to come out of it. Something tells me that this comment and this dipshit are both going to age terribly. Jesus effing Christ, she's dumb. She looks insane. No, you're a fucking idiot, so you don't have to worry. Wow, what a dick thing to say. It won't save her. If she's of a sect different to the faction in question, she absolutely has reason to fear. The fundies over there tend to do far worse than picket protests. If you catch my drift, inshallah. She has to be trolling with these types of answers. I don't believe it. Even she isn't that dumb, lol. She thinks she's funny. Her stupidity has no limits. The lard is suffocating her brains. Wow. Not just is she extremely dumb, she's still white, she's still Canadian, doesn't matter if she's Muslim. The way she laughs about it, like being kidnapped by the Taliban is a big joke. What she also said with this is basically that all Muslims are terrorists or agree with them. No, she didn't. Her husband let her say that. Her husband might be proud of groups like the Taliban and maybe stands behind them. Maybe that's even what made her say that. Maybe she sees them as okay because he does. See the two screenshots from this Facebook that I retweeted? He is somewhat political in a negative way. Wow, she's an idiot. Yeah, just laugh like a psycho at kidnapping, most likely murder. Also, bitch, Muslim, colored, minority, indigenous women face kidnapping, violence, murder at higher rates than your folk ever have. Ignorant, fugly. See you next Thursday. You would know that if you were actually Muslim. My god, is it ignorance though, or does she just not give a shit? Yes, this dumb cunt laughs about someone being kidnapped by the Taliban and thinks it could never happen to her because she is Muslim. Means she thinks all Muslims are terrorists or agree with them, like she seems to, and are safe, even if they are white Canadians. Hashtag Foodie Beauty. Ain't nobody kidnapping her, and it's not because she's Muslim. Gunt gunt. Someone might hate her enough to try. Are we allowed to laugh about it if it's her? Depends on whether or not you're feeling bad afterwards. You do you. Well, I just thought if she thinks it's something to laugh about, and I'm sure she didn't feel bad, I would, even if it's her. They'd only have to look at her for 10 seconds to know she's not Muslim. She should also read the Quran and the Hadith ASAP and learn everything about Islam because sometimes they ask questions and if you can't answer them and they can't see that you are a Muslim. Let's be honest though, no terrorist group is big enough to kidnap her, unfortunately. So, she's right in her assumption. She realizes they kidnap women Muslims and force them into marriage. Not just women but girls. She has no clue where she lives. Bless her little heart, when Salad finally figures out that she's been lying all this time, she could be sold to them. Absolutely. She doesn't even know Salah, but he knows all kinds of loopholes. Sounds like a criminal to me. She's also a woman, and the Taliban's war on women, I don't think being Muslim would help her. She's disgusting laughing like this when so many women have been killed. That's true, but she doesn't get that. Remember, she thinks in Islam women are protected. She doesn't get what's actually going on in Muslim societies and the Middle East with women and no women's rights. Yep, it's actually so disgusting that she's like fetishizing a religion and thinks like, oh, they worship women, treat them like queens by protecting them from being looked at. That's literally all she thinks it is. Because Salah is a jealous man. That's one reason why she thinks that, and I'm sure she has been told that Islam is a feminist religion and that women in Islam are treated like queens. A typical taqiyya thing. Lies Muslims tell not allowed to tell non-Muslims, and she just believes it without checking. Also remember when she first put out the hijab and a young woman had been murdered for, I believe, taking her hijab off? She knew absolutely nothing about it and didn't even care. The more I type it, if I was going to change my life, I would research till I become an expert. Yes, I was, and still am so upset about that. You have women in the Middle East, where she lives now, fighting for the freedom, and she puts on a hijab for dick, not knowing anything about the religion and what it actually does to women. Her ignorance has been cooking since she was a toddler, and yes, I partially blame her mother, grandmother, and extended family for endorsing her with their silence. This bitch needs to shut the fuck up. I effing hate her so much. Sick piece of shit. Staggering. She is worst of all time. They mainly only terrorize Muslim folk. Hashtag Foodie Beauty. You don't practice or even take the teaching as a suggestion. You're a clown in a Muslim costume. Gluttonous fraud looking to cheat Canada's immigration system. The country whose resources you inhaled but refused to pay your fair share. Eat this! Hashtag Foodie Beauty Animal Abuser. Hashtag Foodie Beauty. Wow, what a bitch. Pretty sure the real reason you don't have to worry about being kidnapped is that you weigh as much as an orca whale and no one can transport your fat ass. They'd need a team of Clydesdales to haul her body off. Her dead weight would require some heavy logistics planning. She knows it too. Not to mention the fact that she breathes louder than most people talk. Ma'am, when I lived in Iran, people, like other Muslim people, kidnapped Muslim women and held them for ransom. I mean, she's poor and morbidly obese and self-admittedly said she smells like mackerel and ricotta cheese. So I'm 99.999999 certain she's safe. I'm sure at this point Sally would pay them to keep her. And they would bring her back when they realize the amount of food she eats and when they meet the binge monster. She would be dumped at his doorstep under the cover of darkness when they all noped out. I'm pissed that she mispronounced angel like that. Like, what you say, bish? One of the only things in life that I like about being fat is that no one can kidnap my ass. I had the same thought. She acts like she's some blonde Russian model coming to the Gulf. Girl, who's going to take you? She really thinks life revolves around her, and that she's the main character in everyone's life. Nobody knows her. No one is paying a ransom for you, Foodie. She has zero trafficking value. All she has to do is start running her mouth where she repeats every sentence and get louds. That would make anyone rethink their life choices. She's brought this up a few times and I think someone needs to tell her. Nobody is stealing her, just like she can't pay for them either. Nobody's kidnapping her. And that ignorant laugh she gives when she says something extra horrible? Nope. She thinks because she's a Muslim that she can't be kidnapped. What a psycho. She's so stupid that if they said the right things, she would go willingly. That's how damn dumb she is. She is so stupid. She would go right along with them if they said the right things. They don't have to physically apprehend her. They could easily convince her to go with her. That's how gullible and ignorant she is. She doesn't think they do it to Muslims too? Wow. What sick sack of literal dog shit laughs at this? Fuck, she always gives a reason to fucking hate her. She has no idea how dumb she sounds as if being Muslim protects her. I truly think that's why she converted. No accountability. No woman is safe in a Middle Eastern country. Women are oppressed there, and if the males want to get rid of you, then you're gone. It's baffling how much entitlement she thinks she has. It's not the West no more, Chantal. You're more in danger than ever before. She again showing her very sad lacking of understanding of the Taliban newsflash. Newsflash! It's Muslims mainly being targeted and she's a woman with no value by Muslim standards. She have to worry a lot.